We actually we had a sprayer and a tractor out there. It went all out this year. It was good. It's nice to have the unit there, you know, so that people can see it and touch it.
Where was it?
Michigan,
Okay.
Grand Rapids.
We're live.
Recorded.
Yeah, we are.
Good. It's happening.
You told her. No, I actually, it's not one.
Okay, call the meeting of the IDA
Nice.
order. Get a motion to approve the 115 minutes. So moved. Thank you, Bill. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay. Special board member, not election. Call the meeting of the IDA order. Get a motion to approve the 115 minutes. So moved.
We're good. We're good.
We got it.
So sorry. That's gone.
Right in the Christmas party, me and my wife was probably.
Oh, nice. You need to record those, yeah, YouTube.
Well, last year we did a couple of weeks. Snapchat things, whatever they were. You good?
Yep, yes.
Okay, so what, number 3?
Every year we appoint, the officers of the board. On page 3 of your packet, you'll see, the vice chairman position is filled by the chair of the county board of supervisors. That seat is TBD. Unless there is any discussion or objections, this is the place of your.
We need a motion.
This is just discussion at our annual meeting in January, and then the formal appointments, but it's on the agenda so that everybody knows.
And our board appointments are 2-year appointments or 3-year?
The actual boards, as
Yeah,
a board
I'm
member.
thinking that 2024 is my last year.
They're 3-year appointments.
Okay.
Yeah, so the officers of the board are appointed annually at our organizational meeting.
So I think change that.
We've got a range.
I think,
Yeah.
2024.
There are no term limits, and I think several years ago we staggered our board members, so we're not, we appointed every board member other than the chair and the vice chair are appointed by the county board of supervisors, so we will have large numbers of guys. And then the chair of the economic development committee of the county is the chair of our boards here. The chairman of chairperson of the county board of supervisors is vice chair. For 5 months.
So you said there are no term limits?
No, you can run as, you can fill as many terms as you wish.
Because when I joined the board, Pam had to take a break.
We have term limits. Are you sure?
Yeah, there's 3-year term limits. 2 consecutive 3-year term limits, and then
Yeah,
you have to take a break.
I stand corrected then. I thought we had revised that, but
I thought, yeah, I thought you changed it.
so I'll go back and look and we'll confirm that.
I'm pretty sure we have term
available.
Well, because, I mean,
Yeah, 'cause I can't read them.
Yeah, first joined the board, Pamela had to
But I
take a
did,
break, but I don't think Pam can come
Yeah, I
back
think you're
on.
right. Don't have it from me.
Yeah, so why don't you check that, because I don't, with myself too, I'm not sure.
is everyone interested in continuing to be a board? I'm sorry, you guys are. Everyone interested in continuing to be a board member? If you're not, please let me know. I will review and confirm term limits and where we stand. Committee participation and officer of the board. Really a heads up, this is what's gonna happen.
Brian, did you wanna just point out who the chairs are for like audit, or is that something we'll elect after?
Correct.
Ken's name's first, so maybe it'll be.
Yeah.
Like we're required to have those committees, we're required to have them separately. Caused some cumbersomeness this morning. But really do appreciate participation on committees. It's our opportunity to take a deeper dive on finance. finances, audit stuff, even governance to an extent, unrequired, so. And I know they're early meetings as well. We had a meeting of the Audit and Finance Committee this morning. Where we initiated our discussion with our audit firm. And reviewed projected budgets for the IDA. Or not IDA, projected operating budget for the IDA. Your answer is that we're operating in the black. Projecting same for 2024. Operating comments from auditor finance committee members. Yeah. Yeah, everything went well. Yeah,
So we're good.
questions on anything? Everybody got a copy of our projected budget. Do you have any questions between now and? Well, at any point, please feel free to reach out. Maybe also we should have some pretty concise summaries in the packet. Then the deep dive financial stuff, which may be a little hard to read.
Borrow Ken's glasses.
We are looking for, we do have the resolution, so. Motion 5 would be given a recommendation from the finance committee. And we have a resolution accepting the operating budget for the IDA.
Thanks, Bill. All in favor? Opposed?
So in front of you, you have your account balances. And your checking account, your different savings, and then your CDs. Everything is relatively the same. Just note the CDs are maturing in March and September. So March is going to be, we'll start shopping for different CDs and different investment options. So that will be coming up. Next is the budget versus actuals report. Relatively speaking, we are pretty much on track. We are at about 77% of the budget. Right now, we are showing 135,000 of net income. And we still expect to have a couple more income coming in, which will be a pilot closing. So that'll be the agency fee income, along with we'll probably know. So I apologize. So that income will probably be coming in next year, probably first quarter. But we will be having some bank interest that comes in, which, as we all know, interest rates are up, so that's always great. Expenses, a couple of them that will be going out is still just a little remaining pitch competition, sponsorship money, travel expenses for a recent November travel that's on the credit card statement, pension liability, marketing expenses, postage, and operating. So that each.
Good. Good. What's this update?
The main project update today that we will have is, well, this afternoon, the Butler Prison Steering Committee is having a meeting in regards to the request for expression of interest. We provided the steering committee a draft, and at this meeting, we will be discussing any changes to it and sending that out shortly, early in the new year.
We did have a meeting, Katie and I, but we got an update with staff from Empire State Development, who's facilitating transactions for correction facilities. We'll give a more detailed update at the meeting this afternoon, but things are trending in the right direction. I think generally speaking, as far as the ability to make these transactions statewide, and they have in fact facilitated a transaction with Livingston County with their County Industrial Development Agency for the transfer of their correction facility there. It's a little different than what we have as conditions go here in Maine. But it looks like there's a clear path and they're comfortable with the transaction between the state and the industrial development agency. So this is trending towards a transaction that would involve the idea, but the REOI, and additional things going on. We think will help facilitate a transaction that would result in the IDA maybe holding the property for a short period of time, which is the goal here. Trying to be mindful of carrying costs, security, laws, etc. So if we can line up a buyer leading up to a transaction, we might be able to facilitate something that happens with the same day or several days of acquisition.
Is there any interest at this point for buyer?
There's been some general expressions of interest, but the request for the formal request for the expressions of interest and replies to that is kind of what the reason is. So the impetus being explicit about this, we're not looking for purchase offers yet. But I think the goal here is to give confidence to not just our state development in New York State, but the comptroller's office on our ability to facilitate the position of this facility. They gave it a shot. Sadly, it's in their hands. I don't think we have any other specific updates for IDA. If there are any questions.
Was there an assessment on that? Ryan? Like what's
Department of Corrections has completed an appraisal.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but I suspect that we will. But this will be a dollar or zero cost transaction between the state, the buyer. Cost anything to purchase, there won't be any repayment. This is not looking at any repayment of funds relative to the disposition or whoever accepts the facility. It looks like the bond issue was untangled.
Yeah.
They don't have to. The state disposing of these properties. And the prices from the process of that. I am continuing to have conversations with county staff on the Ontario Underground Railroad. John and I took a slight dive in title search on the property, mainly looking at the east-west line along 104. It's a pretty tangled web, and between company names like Hogak and Penn Central and property access agreements or easements, it's a little difficult to nail down exactly who has access to what and why, documentation relative to the not only the operation of the railroad itself, but ownership of those assets and utility owning the underlying land, the county owning the rail lines on top of that, utility poles, all that other stuff. So all of this is intended to lead us to effective asset management, I'll say. There are certain things relative to the piece of the railroad operating revenues and the transport of particular, let's say, hazardous substance, hazardous waste, or anything hazardous along the rail line is something that we should be documenting. And then annual review of financials relative to the operation of the railroad. But this is very much, in my mind, a cooperative process between the county and the industrial development agency. And it's those sort of which hat are we wearing situations. But I think now's a good time to be sort of looking at this. There's some precedent to ideas managing these assets on behalf of the community. And making sure that we're paying attention to what's going on. But I do see it as an economic asset. There's a regional plan being kicked off soon on overall freight utilization transportation, including rail. So I think there's an interest, and I've been reading things about the value of multimodal transportation and cost saving opportunities for companies utilizing rail instead of trucks. Cost of fuel and everything else. So I very much see the railroad as an economic asset. I know the operators have in the past and do now, and interested to see where, how we can leverage that. Economic development perspective.
Is the real study that was done 4 years ago now, has it been helpful to you?
I think so, absolutely.
Who did that real study?
Um,
So I was thinking, what was it, about 50,000 that the county put in
75, I
25?
think it was 75, something
Something like that.
around that. You know, yeah.
Seems like that should have answered a lot of questions there, seem to be.
It's kind of laid the groundwork, so we've used it. One, I know that the new operators are all been found it helpful to kind of give them an overall evaluation of the asset, sort of lay out some potential opportunities. They don't play a part in this larger regional plan. It was facilitated by the Genesee Transportation Council through one of their grant programs. So yeah, that was 50% funded through the Unified Planning Work Program at UPWP, they call it. But it'll play a role in informing their larger regional plan. I think it's not a plan that's on the shelf, collecting dust, being utilized, and it did play a pretty strong role in application that we made through the county for a significant grant from the federal government for capital improvements to the rail, so the rail itself, ties. That was not funded. That funding window is opening now. It's a very competitive federal program, but as everybody knows, I think the federal government's got a large infrastructure bill. So looking at opportunities to improve that asset, modernize it, if you will. And I think it's focused in the famous John Cut picture of the rail line, and it's very wavy, very old rail. Straightening that out, looking at it from a modern perspective as far as weight per car and things like that. I think there's opportunity. It plays into our shuttle race site program, our business park analysis, kind of all the things that we're doing. Questions for me or anyone else? IDA business?
Next meeting, January 24th. Finance committee meeting the same day. Which we adjourn. Okay. Thanks, Bill. Man, I made him do it. I'm always there for you at the board meeting.